Hello, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there, and welcome to another Sportscenter show with Loro and Matt. Matt, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and your loved ones, and to everybody out there, for those who are watching, happy Thanksgiving to you, my man.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Loro, and to your family and friends, too.
Absolutely. So let's start with our Week 11 recap and biggest takeaways. So let's start with the Patriots beating the Falcons on Thursday Night Football. So did you think that this game was like did you think that this game would be a blowout, or it just shows you that the Falcons are still one of the worst teams in the NFL?
Yeah, it was a blowout. You know, the Falcons are strange. They've either been blown out in their games or they've narrowly won them. So it wasn't surprising they got blown out, and their defense, the Patriots defense, that is, has been really good. And they have good coaching, and so it doesn't surprise me they went down there and really strangled the Falcons.
Do you think that the Patriots are Super Bowl contenders now?
Yes, I think they are. I think they'd be a definite dark horse still. I think that they're peaking, but it could be a little bit early. I think this is going to be one of those years where just a team will catch fire around the playoffs and cruise to the Super Bowl. And they've been doing well with Mac Jones, though. They've not been asking him to do too much. They have good defense. Running's been pretty good. Great coaching. Special teams play is good. So I think that Patriots, I would not want to face them now.
Yeah, nobody does. Nobody wants to face the Patriots, and that matchup on Monday night against the Bills is going to be a dandy. I can't wait to watch that one, that's for sure. So also, the Lions, one of my biggest takeaways is that the Lions, however, were involved in a close game with the Cleveland Browns. I'll tell you that, but I'll tell you. But what are your takeaways from that game?
Well, I think the big takeaway is Baker, and he's really hurt, and I think it's unfair to put too much blame on him for that. I don't think that the fans are right with blaming him, and I think that they got to win, and that's what counts. That's important, and I think that's the takeaway. And I think, though, that they have a game at Baltimore and then a bye. Maybe they need to rest him before the bye against Baltimore and see if he can get healthy. So we'll see what happens there.
A lot of people think that Baker's not the guy in Cleveland. I still think he is, but he's just not healthy right now.
Yeah.
He's trying to play through that non-throwing shoulder injury. He has a brace that he's wearing, but I just think that he's just not healthy right now. So now let's talk about, one of my biggest takeaways is the Chargers. You were at that game. They beat the Steelers 41-37. So what are your takeaways from that game? Since you were at that game as a season ticket holder of the Chargers, they played pretty good, but they almost blew it.
Yeah, that was a game they dominated just from start to finish, except in the fourth quarter, they had Herbert threw that interception, and then they had that blocked punt that, I think both those drives started inside the 15-yard line. I think the block punt was somewhere like at the 4-yard line or something. So, they kind of had some gaps there in the fourth quarter, which allowed Pittsburgh to get 2 touchdowns and eventually take the lead. But, the Pittsburgh defense, they were without several starters, and they couldn't overcome that. And Herbert just drove him down the field, hit Mike Williams for a 53-yard pass, and then Chargers defense stepped up, and Roethlisberger went 3 and out. Couldn't get anything going on that final drive. So, I think the Chargers outplayed Pittsburgh in all facets of the game, but they just had a couple of big mistakes in the fourth quarter, which allowed Pittsburgh to come back. But the Chargers got that late touchdown and then held on. So ultimately, I think a good win for the Chargers, a very good win.
Very good narrow win for the Chargers, that's for sure. So the Rams did not even play, so we're going to be talking about their game and what they need to do for Matthew Stafford to get his first career or second career win at Lambeau Field in just a little bit. So we got Thanksgiving games to talk about. So let's start with the Bears and the Lions, since you got your Lions polo shirt on. So I'm telling you that if you wear that Lions polo shirt on to the show, do you think that it's going to give them good luck for them to get win number 1 tomorrow on Turkey Day?
Yeah, hopefully. I'm calling the Lions. I think they're going to get this win. I think that there's a lot of drama going on with the Bears right now. Justin Fields won't be starting. Matt Nagy, rumors he's going to get fired after the game. And I think that if Goff is ready to go, I think the Lions will have just enough to get their first win of the year.
I think so. I think that that'll happen, but I also think that I'm going to pick the Detroit Lions too. I think if Jared Goff plays, I think that could happen. Jared Goff has not had a win without Sean McVay before, but Tim Boyle's not that bad of a quarterback from looking at the score against Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, and do you think that the Lions defense will be a factor in this game?
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be. Yeah, they need to put the stop on the Bears offense, and they need a couple of big plays their way, but I think that'll happen.
I really hope that the Lions get their first win of the year. I think Dan Campbell has been dying for his first game ball.
Me too, yeah.
So they've been fighting for him every single time. It's not like that they get blown out each game. The Lions have been very competitive throughout their losing streak, but they just can't get wins.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why I think the Lions are going to win big. I think Matt Nagy is going to get fired. I agree with those reports.
Yep, I do too. He'll be fired after the game. I think he knows he's going to get fired. I think, but that you can't fire him like leading up to the game like this. So, but yeah, it'll allow them. They'll have a week and a half for the new coach to step in and the interim coach and take over the rest of the season for him. It'll be the first time the Bears fired somebody in season, though, is what I heard.
If the Bears win, you don't think that they'll fire Nagy if they win tomorrow?
Yeah.
If the Bears win tomorrow, then I don't think there'll be a coaching move. But the pressure's up.
No, I think regardless, though, I think he's out. I heard the Bears locker room wants him out too. So I think whether he wins or loses, I think he's going to get fired tomorrow.
Why do you think he's going to get fired if the Bears win tomorrow?
I just think they've already determined it, and that's just that. You know, they're not going to keep him around because they beat the 0-8-1 Lions.
Yeah, the Bears. I mean, they have a bright future with Justin Fields, but they got to move into a new direction.
Yeah.
And they got to get somebody to help Justin Fields develop his game better.
Yep.
So the Raiders and the Cowboys are playing on the afternoon slot. So if you look at this matchup, the Raiders, they need to find a way to get a win. But, Rick Bisaccia, their interim coach, used to work on the Cowboys staff. He might know their place. But for the Cowboys, they're going to be without Amari Cooper. I don't know if CeeDee Lamb's going to be playing. But I just think that the Cowboys losing to the Chiefs was inexcusable. But I felt like with the score, they should have not gotten blown out like that.
Yeah. It was my dog. I think the Cowboys, when they're missing some of these weapons, like some of the receivers, one of their offensive linemen, they don't look good out there. And they won't have a couple of them this game. But I think the Raiders have their own problems going on. I'm going to pick the Cowboys in this, but I'm tempted to go with a bold upset and say the Raiders winning in Dallas on Thanksgiving. But the Raiders' offense has just been so terrible the last couple of weeks. I don't see them having life here on Thanksgiving. So I think the Cowboys are going to eke out a victory against the Raiders.
It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a really good game. But I just think that the Cowboys are probably going to get a win here. But for the Raiders, I mean, I'm not going to count out Derek Carr in games. But like you said, the offense of the Raiders has not been very good these last few weeks. And then the night game, the Bills and the Saints. So basically, you and I have the home teams winning the first 2 games on Thanksgiving. What will game 3 of Thanksgiving bring? I mean, for the Bills, they came off they got exposed by the Colts. And for the Saints, they got exposed by the Eagles. So it's going to be a trap game for both. So, I mean, as a Patriots fan myself, I would like to go for the Saints. But if the Bills want to win, the Bills might even get mad and want to bounce back and get this one. But I'm going to pick the Saints to win this game just because I think this is a trap game for both teams.
Yeah, this will be interesting. Both need a win here, I think. Buffalo, I think, a little bit more so than the Saints, just due to the nature of what their aspirations are for the season. But yeah, I'm going to go with Buffalo. There says they're 6-point favorites. I think it'll be closer than that. I think they'll eke out a win. Both the Buffalo offense needs to get back on track, and the Saints, they know how to play a good quarterback. They usually have Tom Brady's number, but the Saints did not do well against Jalen Hurts last week, and I feel that Buffalo is going to want to go out there and, with the talent they have, to take some revenge after getting embarrassed at home by the Colts.
Yeah, they definitely want to get revenge on that, but I'm going to pick, like I said, I have all the home teams winning on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, I have just the Lions and Cowboys, then I have the Bills winning.
You mean the Bills winning? You think that the Bills will be the only visiting team that wins?
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's go to the Sunday slate. So, let's talk about the Patriots taking on the Titans. You said nobody wants to play the Patriots right now, but as for the Titans, they're shorthanded. I mean, no Julio Jones, no Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill can't even carry this team on his back. It's only Derrick Henry or bust. I think the Titans missed Derrick Henry in some capacity. Adrian Peterson got waived, so that's definitely not going to be good for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I think I'm going with the Patriots here too. I just think they have their engine going, and the Titans, I will say this, they tend to play up to their competition and then down to their competition. So I think that explains why they lost at the Jets and then at home against the Texans. Plus, there was the Texans game. There was really bad weather, that mucks things up for even the best teams and gives, I think, underdogs a shot. But I think that I think the Patriots win here, and the Titans slide continues.
It will continue, but I feel like that. I think that Tennessee will find a way to make the playoffs. I think somebody's got to win the AFC South.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be between Tennessee and Indy. So I'm with you on the Patriots. I think Mac Jones is going to continue his upward progress. He's really grown these last few weeks. And then we'll get I can't wait to see him go up against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football in a few weeks from now. That is going to be it's going to be a really good football game. I think it's going to be high scoring, and I think that and it's in Buffalo, so I think that crowd noise is going to be intense still on a Monday night. But it's going to be cold but snowy, I hope.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Tom Brady's return to Indianapolis, because this is the team that accused Tom Brady of Deflategate, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Indianapolis Colts. So, I mean, the Colts have been playing really good football at the right time with Carson Wentz. And for the Buccaneers, they got a good win against the Giants. I mean, everybody can beat the Giants now, so they just fired Jason Garrett after that win. And then the Eagles are playing the Giants coming up, so we'll have to talk about that. So, I'm going to pick Tom Brady and the Bucs to win, but the defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers needs a lot of work.
Yeah, this is, in a way, I kind of want to pick the upset here and go with the Colts over the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are not that good of a road team this year, but I think that the Buccaneers, they get some momentum out of that Giants game. And I don't see lightning striking twice for the Colts to win at Buffalo and then home against the Buccaneers. So I think that I'm going to go with Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and I think they're going to go into Indy and come out with a win.
I think so, too. I think it's going to be a narrow one, but you should expect boos from the Indianapolis crowd when Tom Brady leads the Bucs out on the field because of Deflategate.
Yeah.
You're gonna probably hear that in that game, though.
Uh-huh.
And then the Jets and the Texans. Those are two teams that are ready for the number one, or battling for the number one pick. But I think the number one pick in the draft is going to be the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the Lions will probably get the one pick. But yeah, in that game, I'm going with Houston. And I'll say this, that here's just a wild thought I was having. I think Robert Saleh might get fired this year.
Why do you think he would get fired? It's only his first year, though, coaching.
It is. Just two things stand out. One is he's supposed to be a really good defensive guy. And their defense just gets trucked every week, pretty much. And I haven't seen much of an improvement. And they've particularly gotten hammered by in-division teams. They have gotten really pummeled by New England. They got blown out by the Bills. They lost at home to the Dolphins, although it wasn't nearly as rough. But Tua looked decent in that game. So I feel like, yeah, he's defensive. He's a great defensive coordinator. I don't know if that's translating with his current team, though. And more importantly, I don't think he is on the same page with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson has not looked good this year. Of course, there's been an injury there. But I also feel that Robert Saleh has had to take pot shots at Zach Wilson to the media and that's usually a sign that the quarterback, the player, is not listening to their coach. And so the coach has to go to the media to get their attention. So I think it's possible Zach Wilson wants a change. And if the Jets might have a very weird situation in the offseason where maybe they have to choose between the coach and the quarterback, like a Josh Rosen thing, with Arizona, So I could see that happening with the Jets. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going with Houston this Sunday.
I'm going with Houston, too. I mean, Zach Wilson's going to be back. I know he's the future of the Jets, but if the Jets want to fire Saleh, it kind of tells you something that Jets ownership wants a new direction because, Woody Johnson doesn't like losing. He's all about winning.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's that good of an owner, though.
No, he stinks.
Woody Johnson's obviously – I think he's one of the worst owners in the NFL along with Dan Snyder.
Yeah.
And I think if you put the owner rankings, I think Sheila Ford Hamp, the owner of the Lions, I think she's gonna do a really good job taking over for her mom.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the Eagles and the Giants. So from one New York team to another New York team. So some news to talk about is that the New York Giants fired Jason Garrett as their offensive coordinator. So, what are your takeaways from this? Does it show you that Jason Garrett doesn't know how to run an offense?
No, I feel, for one, their offense has been riddled with injuries with Galladay and Saquon Barkley being out for many weeks. Those are your two biggest weapons on offense. You don't have them. And more importantly, Daniel Jones just doesn't look like he's a franchise quarterback. So there's not much you can do in that situation as an offensive coordinator. I feel that if anything, what this accomplishes is if they get someone else to call the plays, and you have Galladay and Barkley that are back, hopefully for the rest of the season for the Giants. Then you can see if Daniel Jones is the man still, right? Get someone else calling the plays for him. See if he improves, right? If he doesn't improve by the end of the season, I think they got to move off Daniel Jones. But no, this is not a verdict on Jason Garrett's ability to coach or be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I thought so after the Giants fired him. So they're going to probably have Freddie Kitchens be the offensive coordinator on an interim basis. He's called plays before. You think he would be a good play caller for Daniel Jones?
Yeah, I think he would. At least he'll be someone different, and maybe he has a different philosophy than Garrett, and maybe he'll help Daniel Jones a little bit.
Yeah, I asked that because he helped Baker Mayfield out when he was in Cleveland. You make him the head coach, and then they have to fire him after 1 year because his offense him being the head coach right away didn't work out.
Yep.
So with the Eagles, I think that the Eagles are going to find a way to get a victory here. So I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game.
Yeah, I think that Philly, they're maybe the surprise team of the year. I did not expect them to be this good, and I think they're going to get a W against the Giants.
I think so too. I mean, Jalen Hurts has been really good this year, and I really think that the Eagles are definitely heading into the right direction.
Yep.
So now let's talk about the Panthers versus the Dolphins. So do you think it's time for the Dolphins to get hot at the right time? I think so. But for the Panthers, they lost to the Washington football team in Cam Newton's return. So it kind of shows you something. You think that Cam Newton is going to be the starting quarterback for the Panthers again over Sam Darnold?
Yeah, I think that Cam gives them the best shot to win for sure. I'm going to go with the Dolphins though in this game. I think they've had a couple good wins here, and I think Brian Flores is a pretty darn good coach, and I think that they're gonna. I think they'll have a good game plan for Cam Newton on defense. So I think the Dolphins squeak out a win.
I think they do, and I think that the Dolphins will get hot at the right time and find a way to get into the playoffs. That's what I think. But probably as the last seed, though. I think Tua's their guy, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
When healthy, but
I don't know about Tua. I don't think I think they're going to move off him.
I don't think they will. Though. So, anyways, let's talk about the Steelers and Bengals. So, the Steelers came off a loss to the Chargers, so I'm not really going to go for them in this game. I think Joe Burrow is better. I think the reason the Bengals had a statement win over the Raiders, and I think that the Bengals are definitely a team that's showing that is very capable of making it to the playoffs. So give me the Bengals in this game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals too. I think that do we know if TJ Watt is starting on Sunday?
I don't know. I mean, he could be a game time decision or something.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are still a bit banged up. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I don't know, and so I think the Bengals. I think they go out there and they'll have a good win against the Steelers.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the Chargers taking on the Broncos. So for the Broncos, man, I mean, I even thought that they would be one of the worst teams in the NFL, but they're 5-5. They're hanging in there, and I can't wait to see this matchup, honestly. I'm going to have a dilemma on who to watch. Will I want to watch Stafford versus Rodgers, or would I want to watch Vic Fangio and Brandon Staley go head-to-head? This is tough.
Yeah, I'll be flipping between the games. Yeah, both of them, yeah.
So for this one in particular, Vic Fangio and Brandon Staley going head-to-head. And I've heard that Vic Fangio has done a really good job in containing the Chargers defense. And for Brandon Staley, he has worked with Vic Fangio before. And a lot of people think, is Vic Fangio on the hot seat by this record? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he is, because I think they're upset with the offense still, and it doesn't look like they have a long-term plan there. But I don't know if that's his fault or Elway's. Like Elway,
It's not really Fangio's fault. Vic Fangio's a defensive-minded coach that should make the Broncos defense elite, which I think the Broncos defense isn't as bad as what people think.
yeah, I personally think like they should keep Fangio. I think like they're supposed to be worse than 5-5. They're 5-5. They're playing meaningful games at Thanksgiving. I'm going to go with the Chargers with this in this one. It's interesting. You said Staley coached with Vic Fangio for 2 years at Chicago, or 1 year at Chicago, and then 1 year in Denver before Staley became the defensive coordinator for the Rams, and then Chargers head coach. So they know each other, and I think you'll see a good game here. I think that the Chargers will eke out a win. It's going to be a close one, though.
It is. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be running the ball, throwing the ball, and also, guess what? A contract extension for Courtland Sutton. What do you think about that? Do you think that kind of helps? Do you think that's a good boost for the Denver Broncos offense?
Yeah, he's a good receiver. They should do that. Yeah.
I mean, the Broncos have had a history of really good receivers like Demaryius Thomas, and now it's Courtland Sutton. And no offense.
On the other hand, they traded Von Miller away. Now, granted, Von Miller's best days are behind him, but so they did trade a big piece of their defense out of Denver.
Yeah, and then I think you got Bradley Chubb now. That's the new captain of that defense. So I'm going with the Chargers in this one. I think it's going to be close. I think Vic Fangio and Brandon Staley will play chess in this matchup.
Yeah.
Because they're both defensive-minded coach. One, Brandon Staley was a quarterback before, and he's done a really good job developing Justin Herbert. And for the Broncos, I need to see a long-term plan at quarterback. Do I think it should be Teddy Bridgewater? In my mind, yes, it should be Teddy Bridgewater as their long-term answer. He deserves a shot at being a franchise quarterback in my eyes.
Yeah, I think they probably need to find someone else, but I think he's done fairly well this year managing the helm.
Better than Drew Lock. Drew Lock couldn't even lead them to a 5-5 record. I thought that was a good call by Vic Fangio to start Bridgewater over Drew Lock.
Oh, yeah, that you definitely do, yeah.
Drew Lock's a bust. And then the Rams taking on the Packers, Stafford versus Rodgers. If it were Lions-Packers with Stafford, then I would go for Rodgers. But in this particular matchup, I feel like that the Rams need this one more. So give me Matthew Stafford and the Rams to win this game by a small margin.
Yeah. I think the Rams go in and pull it out. And it's only because I think Rodgers is having that toe issue. And they also lost one of their offensive linemen, right, for the season.
Yeah, that's kind of a big blow right there. Not Bakhtiari.
Yeah, and I think the Rams, they've come back after they were embarrassed every time this season. So I think the Rams are going to go in there, and I think they're going to get the win.
I think so, too. I think they're going to get a big one. I don't see them being 7-4 with Stafford. I mean, Matthew Stafford knows this Packers team pretty well, and I expect him to keep throwing the football on that defense.
Yeah.
But also my take is Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay will play chess on offense. That's why I think this score is going to be a bit higher than what people think, because they're both guys that know how to coach offense.
Uh-huh.
And I think that Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay, their chess is – I think this matchup will be about playing chess.
Yeah.
Kind of like when I talked about Staley and Fangio going head-to-head.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings taking on the 49ers. I mean, talk about the 49ers being lucky. I mean, the 49ers blowing out Jacksonville. I did not expect that to happen just because I did not trust Jimmy Garoppolo. But, hey, they are still in the mix. Surprisingly so.
Yeah, they are. This is what I'm sorry, what game was this?
Vikings 49ers.
Yeah, this is an awesome game. Both teams are coming on here at the end, and I'm going to go with the Vikings. They've been playing some smart football the last couple of weeks, and I know, but I'll say this: both teams have momentum going into this game, and whoever wins is going to have a leg up on the playoffs for sure. I think whoever wins this game might even be in the playoffs at this point. So this is a pivotal game for both teams.
It is a pivotal game, but I'm going to go with Minnesota like you because Kirk Cousins knows how to play well at the right time. And a lot of people think, is Mike Zimmer on the hot seat? If the Vikings make the playoffs, then I think it saves his job. Because I feel like that because Mike Zimmer was on my list of head coaches that are coaching for their jobs, and I think that Mike Zimmer definitely is trying to do whatever he can to save his job.
Yeah.
So, and for the Niners, I was thinking, like, I want to see Trey Lance out there. I think Trey Lance is better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Might be, but Garoppolo played really well the last couple of weeks. So I think they're going to be sticking with him. For
now, they should. But I feel like that the Niners should definitely move on from Jimmy G next season. So, anyway, Sunday Night Football. I think this game is going to be a really, really good game between the Ravens and the Browns. Do you start Baker or do you start Case? If you were Kevin Stefanski.
This is tough. I almost feel like with Baker, if he needs to, I would just ask him, like, do you need a week off? Because then we have the bye week after. And if he says, or just to be honest, it's okay. You'll be back here, after the bye week. I would start Keenum and just say, like, look, Baker is beat the hell up. We just need to go with somebody who's healthy, and then have Baker ready for the final push.
That's probably a good idea. I would start Case Keenum too. I mean, a lot of the media is saying, is Case Keenum the guy going? Is Case Keenum going to overtake Baker Mayfield for the starting job in Cleveland? The answer is no. He's a serviceable backup. And I think that if you start him now, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my take on that. So, anyways, for the Ravens, they always have Cleveland's number. So a lot of people think, are the Ravens going to continue their momentum here to run away with this in this tough AFC North, or does Cleveland get a win? I'm going to pick Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to get a win. I think he plays this game, and I think that the Ravens, they've been playing really good football without J.K. Dobbins and also Gus the Bus.
Yeah. I agree.
So who do you think is going to win this game between Baltimore and Cleveland?
I'm going with Cleveland. I'm going with Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a good game, but the question is Nick Chubb going to be back for this game? I think they need him for this one.
Yeah. They will, especially if they sit Baker, yeah.
They're going to need Nick Chubb to move the sticks, and they're going to want him to tire out the when they tire out that defense, So, anyways, now let's talk about Monday Night Football. So the Seahawks are going to take on the Washington Football Team. Man, I mean, Russell Wilson does not look good these last few games. I mean, especially in his first game back, he got shut out, and then against the Cardinals, he really, really got exposed. So,
yeah.
Russell Wilson's not healthy right now. Do you think that there's a chance that he could definitely figure out and get back to his form and beat the Washington Football Team? That's the game that I think Seattle needs.
Yeah, I personally think Washington needs it more. I think Seattle's done. I mean, they're behind the Cardinals, the Rams, and the 49ers big time. And I think Washington Football Team, they might be able to make a push here now that they're getting healthy. So I think Washington Football Team, I think they win this one. A narrow win over the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks' troubles continue to roll into December.
Yeah, that's why they got one of their. I'm going with Seattle. I still have belief in Russell Wilson, but he's not healthy right now. He really needs to find a way to get his confidence back, and I know that he will against a team like the Washington football team that doesn't have a really good quarterback right now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, other news to talk about in the NFL. So, Sunday Night Football next Sunday. It's going to be the Chiefs and the Broncos over the 49ers and the Seahawks. What's your thoughts on that, on the NFL taking that particular game out of Sunday Night Football, putting the Chiefs and Broncos in there?
Oh, is it official? They're putting Chiefs Broncos?
Yeah, for next Sunday.
Okay, yeah. I was hearing it could be Chiefs Broncos or it could be Chargers at Bengals. So they went with Chiefs Broncos.
Yeah, they went with Chiefs Broncos.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like, Seattle's done. Their goose is cooked, and people don't want to see that anymore. So yeah, I think putting the Broncos, the Chiefs should be a good one. Especially the Broncos win this week. They'll be 6-5 at the 7-4 Chiefs. I thought like, the Chargers Bengals is going to be a closer game. Like right now I'm checking, Bengals are favored by 1.5, whereas this other game, Chiefs are favored by 9.5. So I guess they would rather have the division rivalry as opposed to a non-divisional rivalry. And probably, I thought too, like people would rather see Herbert versus Burrow. But yeah, so they went with Broncos Chiefs, flexed into the primetime there. But yeah, good for them.
You know what? I think it should have been Herbert versus Burrow in prime time. That would have been fun.
Yeah, they must have, Mahomes could be that big of a draw. The Chiefs could be a much bigger draw because they're, obviously been to the last 2 Super Bowls. So they're showing the Chiefs respect.
Yes, and then also for the Week 15 Saturday slate, the Patriots are playing the Colts, and then the Raiders are taking on the Browns. Those games in particular are good matchups right there.
Yeah, those are going to be good for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that in just a minute. So anyways, let's talk about some baseball right now. So Buster Posey and Trey Mancini won the 2021 AL and NL Comeback Players of the Year award. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I agree that they had a great season. Good comeback, yeah.
Yeah, especially Trey Mancini undergoing testicular cancer, having chemotherapy. And I think that heading into next season, I think that Trey Mancini is going to be a guy that I think is going to be a captain of this Baltimore Orioles team. That's not even good.
Yeah.
So basically on your first all MLB first team, you got Salvi Perez, Vladdy Jr., Shohei Ohtani, Marcus Semien, Fernando Tatis Jr., Austin Riley, Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, Juan Soto, Robbie Ray, Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, Walker Buehler, and Corbin Burns, and Josh Hader and Liam Hendricks.
Uh-huh.
So that was the all first team, and the all MLB second team. You got Ohtani, Urias, Gosman, Fried, and Zach Wheeler, Rafael Iglesias, and Kenley Jansen, Yordan Alvarez, Buster Posey, Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Trey Turner, Rafael Devers, Nick Castellanos, Teoscar Hernandez, and Kyle Tucker. What are your thoughts on that all first and second MLB team right there?
All very well deserved.
They are all well deserved, and I think that now we're going to get into some parts that will be nerve-wracking in just a little bit here. So now with the Hall of Fame ballot out, do you think that A-Rod and Big Papi will make it into Cooperstown on the first ballot?
Yes, I think. No, A-Rod. I don't think. I think it was too much with his performance-enhancing drugs, right?
Yeah, he's known for that,
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with all that. But yeah, it's unfortunate though. Like I don't think they should be punished like that. I mean, ultimately, like people want to go to the Hall of Fame. They remember Barry Bonds, remember Roger Clemens. I mean, they remember A-Rod, and I feel too like the sports writers of America are the ones keeping him out, but they were also the ones that were cheering for them for years during the 1990s and early 2000s. And they turned a blind eye to that. And it just, I think the whole process stinks. And the fact that they're trying to take this holier than thou stance right now, the writers, is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but another question that should be answered is, do you think that this is the last year that we'll see Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens on the ballot, on the first-year eligible ballot?
Because I think it is, right? It is their last year. Yeah.
Yeah, do you think they'll get in that, or do you think they'll get it in the senior bracket?
Well, they could. Yeah, I hope they get in eventually.
They should get in eventually, but they should. The writers shouldn't even vote them in just because they were accused with performance enhancing drugs.
Right. Yeah.
Or using steroids. They need to get in now. I think this is the year that I think they finally get in. So, anyways, let's talk about Rob Manfred's comments from last week. So last week he did say at the conclusion of the owners' meetings, he did say that our number one priority is to make an agreement prior to December 1. Do you think that there will be a labor deal done by December 1st based on Rob Manfred's comments?
No, I think it's going to take a while.
And if it does take a while, do you think that, because a lot of reports that I've read, that it shouldn't be the one like 94, but my only fear of this is that spring training time could get lost and regular season games could get lost if there's a lockout.
Yeah.
Do you think that we'll get to that point?
Yeah, I think we will.
I don't want to see any regular season games lost in the MLB.
Yeah, neither do I.
So, because baseball is such a generational, beautiful game, it's America's pastime, and that they're having a labor war. You know Tony Clark pretty well from his days with the Detroit Tigers, and he also said prior to the World Series that he was optimistic about getting a new labor deal done. Do you have any belief in both Rob Manfred and Tony Clark?
Yeah, I think so. They could still get it done. Just to me, it just seems they're still pretty far apart. But yeah, we'll see.
What the issues on the CBA that they're still far apart on? Luxury tax, salary floor, because the owners want the luxury tax to be lowered at $180 million. And the players, they don't want that. They want more.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the issue right now.
Yeah.
So do you think the players would want to accept a $180 million luxury tax in the new collective bargaining agreement? Or that's too low?
Yeah. They might, yeah. What do you think?
To me, it's all about money. They want to get paid more. And, Rob Manfred said that he doesn't put much weight on it because he thinks that a lot of people think why they might be a lockout is because of the issues that they had trouble getting an agreement in 2020 to restart the season.
Yeah.
Or return to play. That's kind of one of the things there. But Rob Manfred said it's the focus on that is too excessive. So one of my takeaways is that I believe in Rob Manfred saying Rob Manfred has been in the labor industry since 1998, and I trust him. I believe him, and I'm confident that a deal will get done prior to December 1. Because last time when they struck a deal, it was the day before, and I have a feeling that it will happen since they had to move the tender deadline to November 30th.
Yeah.
So are you saying that? Are you giving the fans warning that there could be a lockout in baseball or not?
Yeah, maybe they should, but yeah, maybe they don't want to go to that step quite yet.
Yeah, they don't want to go to that stuff because the last time there was a lockout in baseball was in 1990, and it took them 32 days.
Yeah.
So that was the last lockout, and then you all know the 94 players strike was the last time that was a stoppage that had to cancel the World Series and the playoffs, and I don't think baseball wants to go on that route again.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yep.
I think a labor deal gets done by December 1st. What about you?
I'm going to say no.
Why do you say no?
I think they're too far apart.
Or here's another thing. If they don't get a deal done by December 1st, the owners don't necessarily have to lock out the players. They could just play one more year under the current deal.
Right, yeah.
Could you see that happening? Like the owners
that might happen, yeah.
Yeah, because so that they have more time to kind of lay out the land, like what they want in the next deal. They in the CBA extension, they could definitely put universal DH going forward. That's going to be one of the talking points in the CBA. Do you think that the DH is coming to the National League? Do you think that's a foregone conclusion?
Yeah.
And what about the playoff field being expanded?
Yeah, that'll happen, I think.
Will it be 12 or 14 teams?
12.
Around that range, around 12 to 14 teams, but we'll see. So now let's talk about some trade rumors here. So you got Matt Olson on the trade market now because the Oakland A's are in a fire sale. That's what Billy Beane is all about. They want to remain low in payroll. And Matt Olson is making a lot of money after having a remarkable season with 39 home runs. So
yeah.
Where do you think he heads to? To me, it's between three teams. Will it be the Dodgers? Will it be the Yankees? Or will it be the Padres? For me, I think he should be a Dodger. You could move Max Muncy to third, assuming the universal DH comes. You move Justin Turner as the designated hitter. You get Corey Seager back. You trade Gavin Lux, and you keep Trey Turner at second base. And then you have Matt Olson playing first base. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he'll be a Dodger too.
And do you think that the Padres will if the Padres want to get Matt Olson, they should offer Eric Hosmer and then a couple of prospects in that deal because the A's are going to want a massive return.
Yeah.
And do you think the Yankees do you think this is going to be close between the Dodgers, Yankees, and Padres for Matt Olson?
Yeah, I think so.
I think if Matt Olson was a Dodger, I think you got to include one of their starting pitchers in this deal, like Chris Bassett or Sean Manaea, and you try to trade David Price's hefty contract, which I think needs to happen.
Because
I think the Dodgers definitely need starting pitching help, but they could also use another bat in the lineup to kind of help keep the offense and that engine going.
Yeah.
So talk about Seiya Suzuki. He is on the free agent market. He's just been posted by Japan. And do you think that he'll be a Dodger or do you think he'll be a Red Sox?
A Dodger.
Why would you think he would be a Dodger?
I think he's too good of a talent, and they'll put him in the outfield somewhere.
Is it because with Chris Taylor potentially leaving, you think they need another right-handed bat to go with that?
Yeah, probably.
That could happen, but I feel like that the Dodgers should find I think the Dodgers should sign a reserve outfielder in the free agent market, just so that with Seiya Suzuki, he's really good, but I think he might be a Red Sox.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's been reports that Corey Seager could be back with the Dodgers, according to John Heyman, because the Yankees. I'm hearing that they don't want to spend money on a shortstop. They have a shortstop in their farm system, but they would like a stopgap guy like a Freddie Galvis or something like that to kind of help bridge the gap to one of their top shortstops in the minor leagues. So do you think Corey Seager has a really good shot at staying with the Dodgers now?
Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting twist. A better chance than what he did a couple weeks ago for sure.
So speaking of other top shortstop free agents, so do you think that you will see Carlos Correa sign with Detroit? Do you think that's a conclusion that is already foregone?
Yeah, I think he will.
For how much? How much do you think Correa will be a Tiger for?
Oh, I have no idea.
Much do you think the Tigers will give him $300 million?
I don't know. That I have no.
I mean, I know what Alavila's doing. I mean, he's done a really good. My take on the Tigers is that Alavila knows what he's doing. I think that he's done a really good job taking baby steps with the Detroit Tigers, taking over for Dave Dombrowski, and rebuilding this Tigers team in his own way. What are your thoughts so far on the offseason that the Tigers have had? And what was your takeaways on Eduardo Rodriguez's press conference with the Tigers?
Well, yeah, good. And I think they're on the right track still, yeah.
And do you think Al Avila's on the right track in rebuilding this team?
Yeah.
Kind of the things, one of my biggest takeaways is on Al Avila's tenure as the GM and president of baseball ops of the Tigers. I didn't get why he traded his son Alex.
Yeah.
Why did you think he traded his son Alex? Do you think his son Alex is already retired?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So, anyways, what are your thoughts on Alex Cora getting a contract extension to remain with the Boston Red Sox as their manager?
Yeah, I think, well deserved. So, yeah, I think that's a good move for them.
Very good move. He has unfinished business, that's for sure. So, anyways, what is your thoughts on the MLBPA sending guides to the players and agents about a potential lockout? Because on the guides they sent were, you can't work out in team facilities. The players union could be setting up workout fields in Arizona and in Florida if there was a lockout for players to get in shape.
Yeah, it seems just like pretty standard stuff that they would just throw out there.
It's probably a warning of a lockout, but I still think that something will get done prior to December 1. That's kind of like my thoughts there. But it's just warnings, though.
Yep.
And then on to the NBA. What is going on with the Lakers? We'll have to talk about that in just a minute because the Lakers lost a pretty bad one against the Knicks. So what is your thoughts on Isaiah Stewart and LeBron James getting into that fight?
Yeah. Isaiah Stewart kind of lost his cool pretty severely there. But yeah, I'll say that LeBron really clocked him. I don't know, I wouldn't say it was intentional, but I think it was pretty reckless, and they both deserved a suspension.
Yeah, LeBron didn't even play yesterday, and Isaiah Stewart gets a 2-game suspension here. So, talk about the Lakers last night. If you watch that game against the Knicks, they started out trailing 25. They overcame that deficit, but they lost by 6. So they're 9-10. What is going on with the Lakers right now?
Yeah, they're simply an old team that I just don't know if they can pull it together. That was the whole question going into the season, and they are struggling a little bit right now. They're an average team, it looks like. Obviously, they need LeBron to be healthy, and he's been sitting out several games, and now he was suspended, But I think they'll get better with LeBron in the lineup. But they're behind the 8 ball a little bit.
They are behind the 8 ball a little bit, but for the Knicks, they started out 5-1, but that was a statement win for the Knicks here.
Yeah.
So, do you think you're more worried about the Lakers or you're more worried about the Knicks after this game?
Lakers.
Yeah, and then the Pistons, after blowing the lead to the Lakers, they lost to the Heat. That's not a surprise right there.
Yeah.
Because you know that they're going to lose to teams like Miami or something like that.
Yeah.
And then tonight the Lakers take on the Indiana Pacers. So, what is your thoughts on this game? Do you think that the Lakers will find a way to get a win in Indianapolis? Because, the Pacers have Rick Carlisle as their head coach. And for the Lakers, they need to figure it out.
Yeah, they do, for sure.
So, do you think the Lakers can find a way to get back to 500 with a win over the Pacers? They should beat the Pacers, though.
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
And for the Pistons, after beating the Heat, after losing to the Heat, they're taking on Giannis and the Bucks. And the Bucks are off to somewhat of a slow start. And so are the Pistons. So, do you think there's a chance that the Pistons get a win here, or do you think that that's not a chance?
No, not a chance. The Pistons need, they need a lot of help, and they're not going to get a win.
Talk about the rookie leaderboard. You got Scotty Barnes, and then Evan Mobley, and Cade Cunningham in the top three. But are you still favoring Cade Cunningham as your rookie of the year?
I am. I think by the end of the season, yeah. But yeah, Scotty Barnes doing really good.
What about Jalen Green?
Yeah, he's up there too. I mean, I don't think any of them have separated themselves yet.
Or Jalen Suggs. I mean, Jalen Suggs is definitely going to slowly work into the starting lineup for the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
So, what was your thoughts on the Sacramento Kings firing Luke Walton after his 6-11 start?
Yeah, you could see that one coming, I thought.
And is Alvin Gentry the right person to be the next head coach of Sacramento?
Maybe, but they don't really have that good of a team, so they got to fix the roster.
They have to. Absolutely. So, on to hockey, the Kings, however, they take on the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. So, do you think that there's a chance that the Kings can continue their winning ways? Because they lost the back-to-back to Carolina and to Arizona. And losing to the Arizona Coyotes is so inexcusable.
Yeah, they're a pretty bad team. Yeah, I think I'm going to the Red Wings-Kings game in January.
Oh, that's going to be fun. The Red Wings tonight are taking on the St. Louis Blues. So the Red Wings are 8-9-3. They're under 500. And you said this team is hanging in there somehow.
Yeah, I think they'll have their ups and downs. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but they're exciting still. They're getting a lot more exciting. So I'm looking forward to watching them play.
Yeah, they lost to the Arizona Coyotes on the 20th, and losing to Arizona to me is inexcusable.
Yeah.
So, anyways, now let's talk about some college football. It is rivalry weekend, so let's start with the game. So, your enemy, Michigan, going up against Ohio State. So, in this game in particular, this is my upset special for college football rivalry Saturday. I'm picking Michigan to beat Ohio State. Jim Harbaugh gets his job saved.
I think Ohio State's going to get yet another win against Michigan.
And why do you think so?
They just have a better team, I think, and I think they're going to go to the college football playoffs.
I want Michigan to be in there.
Uh-huh.
But you think Ohio State's probably better?
Yeah.
I don't think Jim Harbaugh's going to get fired. I think the record that Michigan's posted, it's better.
Yeah.
But I just don't think – I think that Jim Harbaugh's safe.
Yeah, I think he's safe too.
And then the Iron Bowl, my Alabama Crimson Tide going up against Auburn at Tiger Stadium. It is going to be a really, really good game. And, hey, guess what? Alabama and Georgia are playing in the SEC championship game.
Yep. Should be a good one.
We'll save our picks for that next week. So my pick for the Iron Bowl is Alabama.
Yeah, I'm picking Alabama too.
And then the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I'm picking Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin.
Too. Going with Ole Miss.
And then the Apple Cup, the Washington State at Washington. I'm going to go with the Washington Huskies.
Me too. Both schools fired their coaches this year.
Yeah, they did. Shockingly, they did.
Yeah.
And then what about the Civil War game? Oregon State at Oregon.
Go with Oregon.
I'm with you on the Oregon Ducks. And then the Sunshine Showdown, Florida State at Florida. I'm going with the Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah, me too.
And I want to get your thoughts on this. What was your thoughts on Florida firing Dan Mullen?
Yeah, he probably had to go. They were really struggling.
Yeah, that's a very bad. The Florida Gators were supposed to be, it's tough to win in the SEC. The SEC is one of my favorite conferences in college football. For Florida to struggle like that, it's not good. You have to win in the SEC.
Yeah.
What about the Battle of Georgia? Georgia at Georgia Tech.
I'm going with Georgia.
What is your thoughts on last week's game between USC and UCLA?
Yeah, UCLA looked pretty good.
They're in the bowl. They're playing in the. They're playing in one of the bowl games.
Yeah.
So, anyways, hope everybody has a fantastic Thanksgiving. And Matt, we'll talk to you next week.
All right. See you, Loro. Happy Thanksgiving.